Hey there everyone, welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. After watching the last video, I decided that we're going to make an attempt to do that again, with the same character that we had last time. I kinda gave up super early, once we took that wound about 5 minutes into the game or so. I basically just said, screw it. I'm just gonna throw this character into every situation without playing very smartly. And, well, you can see how that turned out. I still think the circus performer, or whatever that starting class skill set is the weakest in the game, but we're gonna select it again. Maybe we can get a little more lucky with it this time. So, to that end, let's select circus performer. And once again, I'll cover really quick why I think this is the weakest starting slot, or starting skill set, because you don't get it. You get a single talisman edge, you gotta hope it's something lucky, and you end up getting 2 random different talismans. I would much prefer if this was a random, like, water talisman edge, and both of these were water talismans or something of the sort, but unfortunately that's not the case. We get D4 starting sanity, which is the weakest random stat you can possibly get. You get a random heroic defensive feat, which may or may not be useful, and a random evades trap edge, which could also may or may not be useful. So, we'll select it, and do the pact again. Oh, wow, and apparently I'm doing the pact without even reading the intro text. Let's double back and read this again. Your old friend August Derleth retired from the Z branch many years ago, and you hadn't heard from him since. You'd assumed he'd been engrossed in his bibliophilic pursuits, and your assignments had you jumping from one hotspot to the next. Then the letter arrived in the mail. Derleth implores you to come and visit him at his family estate that he had inherited as the sole surviving heir. The tone of the letter was disturbing. He spoke of a great discovery that he wanted to share with you. Your suspicions deepened when you arrived at the front gate. The place looked like it had been occupied for years. You determined that you would enter and find your friend. Okay, so, once again, circus performer. We'll give this guy a name. Let's think here. Let's name him John Cavator. Why not? Random last name. For our starting bone, we will select the bone of wands again. And first, we'll wait on the starting edge. Let's go ahead and take our abilities. I'm going to stick with 3 wands. I'm tempted to lower, like, pentacles to 1 and just rely on getting skill ups for it later. Like, do something like this to really help our starting cups, or even like this for our starting swords. That could be really useful. I tend never to play characters with only a 1 in a stat, though. That's gonna be tricky. We could lower our cups to 1 to start, because it looks like we can get lots of points in cups to begin with. But I'm nervous about that, because starting with a 1 in any stat is really crippling. No, we'll stick with this after all. Alright, let's say... I'm sorry, by the way, everyone, I babble a lot, but what I'm doing is I'm talking out loud to myself to try to reason myself into making a decision or two. Like, I'm trying to convince myself that I want a 1 in stat to increase another 2 to 3. But we'll go with this instead. I am dumping all our points into health rather than sanity, since our circus performer background gives us D4 random points of sanity at the start of the game. Now, for a starting edge, I did enjoy Polyglot. I think that made our ability to communicate with these creatures bearable, given our low pentacles and wands starting attributes. So we'll select this again. And I'll pretend that instead of being a investigator, we're actually just a normal person coming here to investigate our friend that's been many, many years. So we're not going to pretend we're a member of the Odd, not for this guy. We're going to pretend that we're just a normal dude. Let's get in there and hopefully do a lot better this time. God, getting a wound from, like, the first or second trap, that's just nightmarish. Oh my god. If that happens again, though, well, I get so demoralized if I get a wound or a, what is it, impairment in the first, like, 5 minutes of the game. I really am always tempted just to not even upload the recording. Just delete it, start all over, pretend that didn't happen. So that was one of the first times I've kept my absolutely god-awful first pre-story token character who failed miserably around. Normally I just delete them so I can get a little further. But we did succeed with Professor Weird, who had a starting impairment last year at this time, so... Okay, let's see what we got to start. So we have earned the Kraken as a talisman, and the Thunderbolt as a talisman. And I can already see what our starting talisman edge is. It's an air talisman, and I really don't think I like it, but let's take a look at our character. Yup. Air Harmony. X% is added to the chance that an air talisman that you possess will be triggered during the appropriate results phase, where X is 10 times the level of the edge. So normally, this would be a 50% chance to appear with a 5% release chance. Now, it is a 60% chance to appear with a 5% release chance. I still don't like that edge at all. I really don't want the talismans to vanish rather than increase the chances that they show up, but I'll just have to really take advantage of that, I suppose. Oh, we do have preternatural senses, which I can never pronounce, which is really useful for traps. That's going to let us draw an extra card at the start of any evade traps roll. And our Polygon, of course. And that's basically it. Oh no, we have Heroic Feat as well. Graceful Evasion. This is I'm going to just say this is a pretty miserable Heroic Feat as well. This is one which doesn't benefit us. It doesn't help us to win a challenge. It just tries to lower the odds that we take damage after failing a challenge. And I generally dislike these encounters, these Heroic Feats. Oh my god, very much. I view these as mostly worthless. You do not ever want to lose the challenge, and you should be putting all your effort into succeeding the challenges, rather than making up for their loss. Every time we succeed, that was a card we didn't use, basically. Alright, let's get going. We're going to start by going down the hallway. There might be a secret door here. There is not. Oh. I don't know if we can survive the encounter in here. This will be either a Talisrati or a nurse. In either case, I don't think we'll win the encounter this early on. We need another point in cups at the very least. I guess we can give it a shot just to show you guys why I'm so nervous. So we'll take a peek, I suppose. This will be the Talisrati, I think. Oh, no! It's a different error. Okay. So I don't know what bug that is. I have not modded the game. I have to look to see what encounters happen in the boiler room? Strange operating room, and try to fix that. Okay, so whatever encounter that was, it's not working properly. Brainbot. You hear the taps of its metal legs on the floor, and then see it emerge from the shadows. A Brainbot. Soldier slaves created by the Talisrati from human victims to fight in their interdimensional wars. They are quick, efficient, and merciless. Nothing remains of their past humanity. The thought of it is horrifying. Okay, let's try to survive this. 2 aces and a 3, and a King of Wands. We better get a Wands card. We do not. Your mind is weak. You feel overwhelmed with fear. You wonder if you will end up a slave trapped in the metal tomb. Alright, thankfully we didn't take any sanity. So poor John's like, oh my god, what the hell is that? The Brainbot seems to be on patrol. You should act quickly before it summons reinforcements. So we probably won't win the fight. Let's see if we can run from it. Nope. It's too quick. Catches us. We'll try running again. We might as well give it the slip. They are fast, but they're not too smart, ironically enough. You had still better be careful, though, as it seems that it is intent on pursuing you. So the big problem with also cup characters is that they generally benefit mostly from fleeing challenges, which never grant you experience points, and very rarely grant you any life as well. It's chasing us. We gotta try to ditch it. We're not doing it in that room. Nor that room. A giant green ooze. You've come face to face with a green ooze. You didn't even notice it at first. It sticks to the ceiling, hidden in the shadows, waiting in ambush. Suddenly, it drops to the floor with a sickening squishing sound and forms up around you. You feel a rush of adrenaline-fueled fear sweep over you. This lab experiment gone bad could mean the end of you. So while running away from a Brainbot, we come across a blob, and we're like, oh my god! And poor John just is terrified. Oh my goodness. Okay, so John's just panicking. He can't believe there's a blob in front of him. What the heck happened to his friend? There's no way we'll win either of these challenges, so we're going to try to run away from this creature as well. We succeed in doing so. You turn to run, and the creature lunges at you, but it's too late, and you are safely away. Unfortunately, we have to fight the Brainbot. We could try running it from it again. Now, it's a good thing we failed at least the run, because that has a lesser chance of also hitting us for very powerful negative effects. What you're going to see, though, is if I run, I'll have to get... Okay, we got lucky enough to put some distance between us. We'll be able to stay on the same spot as it, rather than walking one spot backwards. I'm going to dash in this room. Hopefully it won't realize we went in here. A pile of papers. You see a bunch of papers spread out on top of a desk. Among the clutter are an assortment of old envelopes, letters, and even a few parchment papers. We have got to search this. It gives us a chance to get experience points, and we're desperate for them. Cup's characters have a really tough chance getting starting experience. You decide to search for the papers. You never know what type of useful information you might find there. Well, we're going to have to hope for cups. We're not going to find anything here. Well, hello, King of Cups. That's a shame. You don't come across anything earth-shattering, but there's enough information here to boost your confidence that you're on the right track. Is there? No, there wasn't. Just one sanity. We're going to wait a little bit, try to get that Brainbot to leave us alone. We don't see it in this hallway. Oh, crap! It only just now came out of this hallway. Let's duck into the children's playroom. A gang of possessed dolls. Your attention is drawn to the clattering sounds of wood striking wood. You could swear you were hearing wooden shoes scampering around in the gloom in front of you. Suddenly, you see a small group of porcelain dolls scurrying towards you, animated by some strange sorcery or curse. These dolls look angry, and they are armed as well. Alright, so we got a bunch of maniacally looking dolls trying to stab us to death. Thankfully, we keep our head about this. I guess after seeing a blob and a Brainbot, John's like, okay, this is like some sort of crazy horror movie that he's in. Now, the gang of possessed dolls, I guess we'll read this. The toys jump around you like maniacal goblins looking for treats on Halloween. They swing and jab their blades at you. Oddly, one of the dolls is carrying a ragged doll of its own. Alright, I'll skip the rest because I'm playing a normal person rather than a member of the Odd. So, these things can really mess you up if you decide to fight them and you lose the fight. They have a good chance of getting you an impairment or a wound. So I think we should just try running from them. We succeed. Barely. You muster all your courage and turn and run the way you came. You soon find yourself in safety. Oh, we also ended up right on top of the creature. It's a bit awkward. A haunted guillotine. You see the outline of its distinctive shape in the gloom. It still takes you a second or two to realize exactly what it is. A guillotine. This, however, is no normal guillotine. The mouton and blade pulled up high glistens with wet blood, and the bascule seems to beckon to you. You feel tired suddenly, and then you realize you have somehow unknowingly taken a few more steps towards the death machine. You feel a wave of panic engulf you as you realize that this cruel instrument of death is slowly drawing you closer. You realize that you must resist its siren call or risk losing sanity and just possibly your head. Nope. This wood and metal monster has consumed hundreds of souls, and you feel your last barrier's resistance begin to buckle and eat away at your sanity. Okay, well, we know I can't defeat it physically because the challenge is ungodly high. We're not going to win a sorcery challenge. We can't engage in a psychic duel, so we're just going to leave it alone. Apparently, the creature cannot walk in the same spots that other things are in. We're going to walk back onto the dolls and fail. We're going to keep trying to run away. And if we're lucky, we'll get to stay on this spot. We do. So this is going to force the Brainbot to run around these two things, giving us some time to get away from it. A haunted piano. You see a magnificent grand piano in front of you. The hairs on the back of your neck begin to stand on end. You feel a presence nearby. Streams of psychokinetic energy are leaking from the piano. Okay, so basically we just see it. We hear moaning or something coming from it. And we see some wisps of ghostly smoke. And poor John is just absolutely horrified at it. Oh, or not. Okay, so his mind's pretty strong in this instance. He's able to withstand this psychic assault. You deflect the fear that would have sought to dominate and consume you. The grand piano seethes before you. Something seems wrong here. Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna skip the rest of this text because I am pretending we are playing a normal person, not a member of the odd, given how weak this character build is. So, we have no idea how to interact with this at all. And we're just going to leave it alone and run away from it because it's, again, no idea what to do when it comes to a haunted piano. Fire imps! Alright, everyone, welcome to at least one of the creatures unique to the Pact mission. You smell brimstone and immediately recognize it for what it is. Oh, alright, it says we have a character. Well, technically, according to our background, we escaped the fire. So, the circus burnt down and we managed to escape the burning tent. So, we can pretend that the fire imps were behind it. You smell brimstone and immediately recognize it for what it is. You've encountered fire imps before. They are the servants of dark powers and demon princes, and they are nasty little creatures. You spot them glowing brightly and moving directly towards you. They seem to be able to conjure fire out of thin air. Oh my god, look at that horror check, everyone. You try and block out the cackling laughter and focus on the danger at hand. My god. Why on earth, Mr. Davis? Why is the horror challenge for this 15? Sorry, I'm writing that down. That is ungodly high. That should probably be lowered to about 8. Lowered by 7 points. That is... How are you supposed to succeed at that horror check? You can feel yourself starting to panic. There are so many of them. The imps blow smoke from their ears and nostrils and hurl flaming projectiles at you. The good news is that you can kill them. They're just tough little buggers. So, I have not modded this encounter, which is why there is no option to use sorcery against them. This is going to be impossible for us to fight them, so we just have to run. You don't feel like playing with fire right now? Decide to make a quick exit. There's no way. Well, actually, we could get very lucky and defeat them. But I don't know what their what their failure table looks like. And I don't feel like taking more wounds. So we're just gonna try to run. You turn to run, but a swarm of imps pulls you down. It begins to get very warm. We cannot win a battle against them. That's simply not gonna happen. Or rather, let me phrase, the odds are not in our favor whatsoever. You run for your life and don't look back. You should keep moving, though, as these things will most likely keep looking for you. We just got to run out of the room. There's a Brainbot. So we're stuck. We've got to move through the Brainbot to get back to this main room. We succeed at giving it the slip. We will probably never see anything, by the way, everyone, from any of these challenges. So this might be like 45 minutes of me just running around and avoiding every encounter that we come across. It's just god-awful. Alright, with the Brainbot so close, we're not going to go up this way to look for a secret door. I want to try to ditch these creatures that are searching for me. I'm going to dash in here. I'll say this, it's exciting to play this character, but it's also extremely frustrating and very demoralizing to play a character that simply cannot defend himself from anything. Alright, we know the psychic boxing is in this room, but we don't have enough experience points to succeed at it. I would want one more wands, one more pentacles, and one more cups. I guess we can at least begin the encounter and see how good or bad we do. How well we do or don't do. Oh, more fire imps! These are an entirely different group of them. Well, we're not walking into this room. Let's jump into the chapel instead. The ghost students. At first they look like small reflections of light playing off the floor of the moon. They appear to dance and circle around the room, which upon further consideration seems very odd. You suddenly realize that you're observing the ghosts of 4 children playing merrily by themselves. The quiet serenity of the deathly scene is shocking. These children don't seem to realize that they are dead. Your mind is overwhelmed by the utter sadness of the scene. How long have they danced through these empty rooms and halls? You fight to keep your sanity from slipping away. Nope. You start to sob at the sight of them until you can hardly stop. You finally manage to regain your composure, but the anguish in your soul remains. We cannot dismiss them. We'll fail that challenge. Or we won't have a good chance of winning. We just have to run. By the way, everyone, I'm also playing this type of character to show you why I cannot recommend this game. It's so difficult for me to say, but this game is not very fair, and in my opinion, the RNG and balance is all over the place for it. One of the only reasons I continue to play this game is because I have modded it as much as I have. I probably wouldn't be playing it anymore if I had not. Just a heads up, by the way. If you like what you're seeing, great. Go and pick up the game. But keep in mind that I have modded the game somewhat as well. And I don't find this to be... It's probably very fun to watch me run around like insane. And it is exciting. But I really think this is super frustrating. A falling chandelier. You hear the sound of straining metal above you and then a sudden crack. You look up and see a massive glass and metal chandelier falling directly towards you. Okay, well, our best chance is a smart sidestep. You judge the trajectory of the falling chandelier and notice that you can shuffle over to one side and avoid it entirely. Alright, so, John, you've got a chance at doing well in traps, thanks to your edge. That's all. That's it. That's all you got. We're gonna have to hope cups or wands appear. Okay, that's good. We will play the knight to lower the amount of failure we'll end up getting. Your calculations were slightly off, and you can't get completely out of the way in time. Oh, thank God. Okay, it still missed us. So we're basically just running around, screaming at the top of our lungs about all these horrible things running around here trying to kill us. The Ghost Bride. You hear the soft beat of a human heart. It seems to slowly grow louder. The air around you becomes cold, and you start to see your own breath. Suddenly, a ghost materializes directly in front of you. It is the ghost of a woman dressed in an elaborate bridal dress. The sight of her is quite a shock. The sudden appearance of the ghostly bride threatens to send you into a panic and damage your sanity, especially with nothing higher than a 4. Your courage fails you! Weddings have always made you nervous. This isn't this isn't helping. Oh, memories of his, I guess his previous marriage. Oh, that's bad. The ghostly bride hovers in front of you. You are alarmed to notice that she seems to transform herself across a range of apparitions. At times, she has a vision of calm, innocent beauty, and then her eye sockets seem to empty, and she appears fully skeletal, a harbinger of wrath. You sense some traumatic event has bound her here, and she seems to be longing for the return of something. We can actually talk with her, so we'll make the attempt. You decide to use your psychic... Okay, so we're going to pretend we don't have any psychic abilities, not yet. So we're going to be like, whoa, hello, miss, can we help you? Please don't eat us. And see how she responds to that. Ha ha ha! We had a bunch of face cards, high face cards, and you get to play any of them. Isn't that wonderful? Let's try this again. I'll fail this. I want more than just 2 points for this. We need to game this attempt. I must have more points than just 1 success. Now, I'm gonna keep failing. We're gonna keep trying to do this until I get a decent hand. Oh, there goes my knight. Oh, no face cards at all. I have to get multiple face cards in their hands. I have to. We have to be able to... I don't like a page and pen knight, but we'll go ahead and try this one. It sucks. Alright, still 4 over gives us like 3 extra draw for the rewards. Okay. She explains that she is waiting here for her betrothed who is late for their wedding. She wants your help. Ah, that sucked! No experience points. Her name appears to have been Constance, and she is waiting for her betrothed to appear and marry her. You get the feeling that she has been waiting a long time. She wants you to find him, but has no idea where he has been hanging out. She is certain, though, that he is somewhere nearby. Looks like the fire imps are no longer around. A living gargoyle statue. Your attention is drawn to a large stone statue of a truly horrific and bizarre-looking gargoyle. It sits on a pedestal with its arms wrapped around its legs. You feel a sudden shock shoot down your spine as you notice his eyelids blink open. The statue is alive. You fight to control a growing tide of fear that is sweeping over you. Okay. We have now seen worse than this in this house. We will not fight it because it's part of a quest. We will attempt to run from it instead. You must have been corrected in your assessment that it can't move. The gargoyle does not pursue you. We'll stay in here to check to see what this quest is. Zombies. You've come face to face with the living dead. Slow, ponderous, and mindless, zombies are not to be underestimated. They can overwhelm you with numbers and be feasting on your entrails before you know it. Despite having dispatched quite a few of these undead automatons, they still creep you out. Well, that's not true at all. Our character hasn't dispatched any of them. Okay, so we survived the horror check. We're like, okay, zombies. It's not a blob. It's not demons. This isn't that bad. We actually have a decent chance to beat them up, so we will make the attempt. We'll use sorcery against them. So we're just gonna wave our hands and utter some random words, and we can pretend if we win that one of them that they stumble and fall into each other. We do manage to win the challenge. Very nice. I didn't think we would do so. So we utter something, and one trips, the other one falls on it, and then they crumple to the ground and die, remain dead at that point. 2 life and 1 sanity, no experience. So we're not really, we're better off than we were, but not really. A bookshelf. You see rows and rows of books. Most of the material is quite pedestrian, and what you would expect to find in the library of a large estate like this. However, occasionally, you come across an item that is more esoteric, and you wonder what secrets and knowledge might be hidden here. You'll never know unless you look, of course. We kind of have to look. There's a chance to get a spell here and experience points. I mean, so I guess we can wait until we have more pentacles and wands, but I don't know if we'll get that chance. We avoid the gargoyle statue. Alright, let's keep pressing on. Oh, the fire imps are staying here! Oh, no! Okay, well, I guess they can stay there. That's super bad. A poison gas trap. You feel your foot press down on the pressure plate and then hear the click as the tablets hit the pan of acid. A cloud of poisonous gas erupts from the floor beneath us. You will fall to the floor to avoid the gas. You notice that the gas is rising in a cloud as if it were being shot upwards. You said to cover your mouth and hit the deck to get out of the way. It's a good hand, actually. We might win the challenge. We do, and by quite a bit. We have a decent chance to actually earn some experience points here. Your quick thinking keeps you out of the poison gas cloud. Good work, John. Good work. Let's see if you're getting the hang of this. Of course not. We'll walk upstairs just to mark this on the map. Nothing here so far. We're arguably doing better than the last mission, because we still have both our talismans and no wounds. Or impairments, but this is still pretty... Oh, God. This hallway. There's a good chance to get zombies in this hallway. The school teacher will be here, though, so we're going to go in here and try to find her. Because she'll give us a quest to talk to the children down here, which will earn us 1 experience point, which we desperately need. That's probably her. We should check the whole entire room, though. You hear a faint tapping sound at first. As you step closer, you observe a large chalkboard covered in strange formulas and symbols. The equations seem to be writing themselves. Suddenly, a ghostly figure materializes in front of you. It turns away from the chalkboard and, holding a piece of chalk in its ghostly hand, seems to examine you. Your mind fights to stay focused despite the supernatural assault on your senses. Sounds like, oh my God, it's a ghost! It's a ghost! He's going insane. There's just too many horrible things in this house. You behold the ghost of what was obviously a school teacher. By the way she projects herself, you would guess that she must have lived in the middle or late 19th century. She seems to be looking around the room as if she were searching for something. A question from a student, perhaps. Oh, but we can't even talk to her! We can't even talk to her. Our wands and or cups is not high, pentacles is not high enough, so we can't get any experience points from her. Like, we can't even get a quest. How about that? How about that? That's too funny. Book on stand. You notice a large tome set on the ornate reading pedestal. It's apparent that the book is bound in human skin. You have seen such things in odd special collections. You feel a presence nearby. Yes, you are being watched. But the strongest emanation is from the tome itself. You could swear that it is alive. Is it breathing? No, that must be your imagination. We don't have a good chance at this, everyone. If I choose to do this and we fail, we're probably going to go insane. If we win, though, we'll earn a spell that we probably cannot cast, so we're just going to leave it alone. To succeed at casting the spell, without taking damage, we'd have to roll a 1 or a 2 on the Gather Power dice, and then under a 2 on the Pentacles roll to win. Actually, we even need the Pentacles dice. There's no reason to even interact with that yet. An occult card game ritual. You see a sped candle placed next to 7 chalk circles. You have the impression that somebody has been playing a game here. You notice the cards sitting in 3 of the circles. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you recognize one of the cards. Death. He's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die in this house. I'm never gonna find my friend. And he can't even leave. There's no way to leave the house once you're in it. So the imps must have just trapped him in here. 2 sanity is very nice. Thank goodness we need that badly. Alongside death sit despair and darkness. The unseeing eye seems to preside over all 3. This is a very unusual deck. You can't place it exactly from memory. You think it might have originated in the Balkans, but you are not sure. You studied the setup carefully to decide what to do. Let's see if we can figure out how to play the game. Yes, you recognize the deck and its setup. It's clearly the work of the Red Hand. You thought that the cult had been destroyed utterly. Why would a Red Hand divination deck be set up here? There must be a spirit key nearby. You should try to find it. If you find the key, you can play the deck without the worry that you might precipitate some catastrophic event. You suspect that it is nearby. A key for a deck created for the red hand will most likely bear the mark of the red hand, somewhere conspicuous. You will know it when you see it. Well, we have either the second floor to go up at, which you know we won't survive in. We can't defeat the fire imps, so we're not going that way. We won't be able to get past the blob, so we can't go that way. So we just have to go through the hallway of zombies next. A zombie. You saw them lying on the floor, but you obviously didn't connect the dots. You started off down the hall, giving the burlap sacks a wide berth. You slipped past one large bag and then stopped at your tracks when you heard the ripping sound of cloth being torn by some sharp... Why would we stop? Why would John stop? He would run shrieking down the hallway. But he doesn't look like he's surprised about what happened. So, these are... Oh, I modded this. Okay, so this is a modded encounter. Interesting. I haven't seen this text in a while, though. So it looks like the psychic duel. There's a question mark. Alright, I need to change the text on that. Well, we have an okay chance to use sorcery. So we'll utter the same spells we uttered last time when we fought zombies, and see if it works for this zombie. And hilariously... it looks like John is accidentally casting a real spell. So this one also falls over and he collapses on the ground. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And an experience point. One entire experience point. Yeah. Put that right in the cups. We should probably go up and down the hallway endlessly and just fight zombies for experience points at this rate. It's not looking very promising for us. An Apparition of Death. You see a chessboard set up for the commencement of a game. Upon closer examination, you discover that the pieces are very strange. The black ones are carved out of some volcanic rock and seem to shift between normal pieces and twisted tentacled monsters. The white pieces, carved from alabaster, depict humans armed with all manner of weapons. You could swear that you see a knight that resembles yourself. Suddenly, a chair across from the chessboard, a grim specter of death appears. Your eyes wide in disbelief as the apparition beckons you to sit and play. And John is like, okay, it's not trying to kill me, at least just wants to play a game. You stare back at the apparition and even muster a nonchalant smile, which seems to amuse it. The specter startles you. You wonder if this is some type of trick or illusion. Could this be real? You can sense the currents of sorcery at work here, but just what the source is, you cannot be certain. It beckons you to sit across from it. The apparition motions to the board again, suggesting that you begin the game. Nope. We will lose horribly at this. We cannot do so. Actually, what did that say, really quick? Unlike your encounters with most other supernatural creatures, the Spectre of Death seems to have no problem with you leaving, and you feel perfectly free to do so. A line from a poem suddenly springs to mind. I have a rendezvous with death at some disputed barricade. That's a great encounter. You can win some incredibly nice things from it. Or you can die outright if you fail the challenge. A creepy Mortician. You see a human figure lurking in the darkness, and you don't like the look of it at all. It steps forward from out of the gloom. You're confronted with a strange and unusually tall man who towers over 6.5 feet. He seems dressed like a mortician of some sort. He opens his hand to reveal a spiked shiny sphere that miraculously hovers out of his palm. He smiles, and a creepy voice says, I have been waiting for you, boy. You've seen a lot of strange things, but this one is right up there. You have the feeling that there is a story here that is just a tip of the iceberg. You feel like you were trapped in a B-horror movie. I have, since this poor character has stepped foot into this mansion. The strange man continues to approach you, striding forward with an unnatural gait. The spiked ball now launches itself at high speeds towards you, so there's no way we're beating him up, and this is normally the only option that you have. I have added a sorcery and a psychic challenge. These are also too difficult, so we are just going to try to run. You turn and run as fast as you can. You can hear the flying sphere buzzing around you, trying to wound you. But then suddenly the sound vanishes, and you are away. We are no match for anything that's outside. I guess we can step here, though. Old pool. We are no match. Domestic bliss. Although Derleth always maintained that scratches and bruises on his face were accidents at home, you began to wonder. All challenges that involve wands as a primary suit receive a -1 modifier to the number of trick cards placed on the board while this story icon is active. And everyone, we're going to stop here. So let's summarize what's going on. We are losing badly. Not as badly as the last time. We have made no progress to advancing John. We've had to run around the mansion to avoid death. If things are tougher, we only have earned 1 experience point as the single positive thing which has happened to us. Technically, we've also earned 1 life, but we managed to lose a few points of sanity. We are no close to getting any better either. Challenges are just going to get tougher and tougher now that we're drawing story tokens. Realistically, I would normally just delete this character and play someone who has a fighting chance of this, but this has actually also been exciting, despite my complaining. We are somehow surviving. I will be very surprised if we can survive up to the 3rd story token, because we have explored what looks like maybe about a third of the ground floor, and we have nothing to show for it so far, except a bunch of encounters we had to run away from. And the 1 or 2 we managed to pass, we didn't really earn anything for. Unlike most characters, where we succeed at the challenges and then get quests and get experience points, John has to wait until he can get lucky with an encounter to earn experience points, to increase his stats, so that then we can run around and do the things other characters would have already been able to do. So this is, it's just going to be terrible. Well, that's poor John, and we'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.